Righto, money miners. This is our first yarn after the GC Fest, the UGCs.
It is.
We're going to do more episodes like that where we just get drunk and talk.
Did that feel like Life of Mine for a little bit?
Yeah, just we could have got a couple of. Imagine if we got Dharma in here
Yeah,
to bloody add a bit of an element. I'll get him in for the next one. I'll get his referrals up. Right, today we've got she's a bit of a supreme pizza. We've got fucking who haven't we got? Bloody 29 medals. What do you got? Bloody
MinRes, Red Hill, Bannerman, bit of oil and gas M&A chit-chat.
Bit of rip and tear at the end.
Southern Cross is doing a deal.
Southern Cross, bloody bit of word on the decline that is 100% probably wrong, but
it's a news day.
I'll say it anyway. It's bloody, a bit of a few drill holes floating about today.
Yeah.
There's better been some Black and K drill ones in there, but anyway. Right, lead it out with the market, darling. 29 medals.
Yeah, you say that tongue-in-cheek, but things are looking a whole lot better than they were a few months ago, Maddie. Talk. Yeah, exactly. So new CEO in there, James Palmer, is of Western Mining and BHP. So kept at 360 now. I thought I'd just double check that one because it's sort of flip-flapped about so much, trading a bit over 50 cents these days. They finalised a US $50 offtake finance facility today, which I think we'd spoken about a month or two ago when it was first announced, and we'd sort of passed our comments on it. And there was a few things worth highlighting again. And you know, perhaps it's not such a specific critique on 29 Metals, but because they're not the only player that does this, but just far too little details. If you flick through the key terms, Matty, SOFR plus a margin.
This just indicates they do not listen to the show and they do not take the advice on board.
You're not telling the shareholders, the owners of the company, like your capacity to service the debt. They don't really know. I mean, you'd hope they're and trust that the management's making decisions in the best interest of the company. But I think it's just a bit too opaque for my liking.
And last time I checked on Excel, for the the researchers doing their cash flow models, like if you write plus margin, it comes up with an error. So you need to put a fucking number in there.
That's good, mate.
So you're pissing off the brokers, which are going to tell everyone to sell your stock.
Yeah, it's the read through is that you're embarrassed. You don't want the market to know just how extortionate your cost of debt is.
100%. That is the read through on principal repayments. They're not having to make any principal payments for a bit under 4 years, rather, April 2028. So that's a bit of a positive given the sort of cash flow dynamics at the company. And this debt is fully subordinated to the company's senior lenders. No surprises there, sort of sitting below all that senior debt in the stack. But you just got to bear in mind, going back to the price that they're paying, Glencore are going to be compensated for that additional risk. You can sort of absolutely bet.
The old pound flesh, JD. They'll be taking a couple of the margin might be a few pounds.
Exactly what they're known for, Glencore. So
you say things are looking a hell of a lot better. I think
I said the share price.
Is looking a hell of a lot better. I mean, there's more leverage in the cap structure. It's not just the lack of margin on the key terms here. It's like it says long term offtake. How long's long term? Is that life of mine? What does long term even mean? Like that means what's the What seriously?
And then companies talk about, on standard market conditions, do you care to disclose what they are?
What are the terms of the offtake? I mean, it's just
it's
disclosure light, to say the least.
Exactly. So I think we've sort of been over this one a couple of times now, but companies in general should treat their shareholders with a bit more respect, in my opinion.
They would. I'm sure they'd probably say that the terms are all sort of, commercial in confidence, or we're subject to the confidentiality agreements of it themselves. But these are kind of material key details that a lot of other market participants recognise it's important to inform the market about. And when they don't come out in these announcements, well, there's usually an additional layer of disclosure that comes out in the annual report or the half-year report when you scroll to the 13th last page and you squint your eyes and you can okay, that's the cost of debt. Well, thank you. You could have fucking told me that on the day it was announced.
Yeah. I think it was the great Russell Peters said, be a man, do the right thing. That's all you got to do, 29 Metals and every other bastard out there that wants to get some debt.
Well said.
Southern Cross Gold to merge with Mawson Gold. Not coming out of the blue, this.
No.
Mawson's owned half of Southern Cross. Southern Cross owns 100% of the Sunday Creek project. Mawson's owns half of Southern Cross.
Yeah, and I feel like we probably haven't talked about Southern Cross Gold as much as its share price run would warrant, and that's probably
Bring up the spark chart.
Spark chart. Here it is.
This fucking thing go.
Yeah, it's been a big kind of exploration success story of the gold market of late, and we probably don't give it enough attention because it's simply on the other side of Australia. And
We probably should because they're verified.
they are. You're right there. That is true. The company, of course,
Maybe it's just because we trust it. We don't have to look into it too much. It's verified.
could be it.
Yeah, anyway. Not a verify ad, just free plug there. But right, go.
The company, of course, they had a lot of exploration success at the Sunday Creek project in Victoria, and today's announcement I find it kind of interesting, right? Because it's a merger between Southern Cross and its major shareholder Mawson Gold. Currently, Mawson, as you say, Matty, they are a 49.6% shareholder of Southern Cross Gold, and this merger would see Southern Cross shareholders other than Mawson retain 50.4% of that pro forma combined company. And the funny thing is, though, it's kind of been structured in a way so that Mawson is acquiring Southern Cross and then changing its name to Southern Cross. So it's a little bit funky. There's going to be
They used to be 51%, I think, after they diluted after the cap raise. So they were the major owner.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's going to be a spin out or a sale of Mawson's. They call it the Eurocanna projects, and they talk about them hosting, some conventional hard rock uranium resources in Sweden. That's kind of interesting to me because I keep hearing this rhetoric about Sweden apparently set to lift their moratorium, kind of the whole ban on uranium mining out there. So don't know if they're worth anything or not, but it's worth looking into that one.
Is it ban on uranium mining there or ban on nuclear power?
Uranium mining.
Uranium mining as well.
Yeah, that's going to lift. Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. The other fascinating part of this deal, gents, guess how Southern Cross came into existence? It was an IPO spun out of Mawson's in 2022. So two years ago, Mawson spun this out, IPO listing, and now this deal's going to bring it all back together again.
It's a banker's dream.
Normally we're a little bit critical of the whole demerger and then remerge them back together again because, people just cop it unnecessary, like legal and banking fees on two separate transactions that maybe didn't need to happen. I think in this case, I'm not going to be as critical of it because I think, in some instances, you actually, by doing the spin out, you have the ability to have a separate management team in the appropriate jurisdiction, a proper kind of exploration program, a properly funded one,
and to list on
the right exchange. All of those sorts of things kind of matter, and then bringing it together now, it's going to have these sort of dual listings, and it'll be called Southern Cross. That'll be the main story, and it is a bit funny if you're looking at becoming a shareholder of Southern Cross at the moment, because anytime you see like a 50% shareholder on the register, you're always just like a bit like, huh? It's an apprehensive thing. This clears all of that up, and I find it kind of interesting. And I'm broadly kind of positive on this deal getting done.
What are some other ones that you think at the top of your head where there's a big bloody major shareholder? Hawke's Point with Oraband is probably one.
I mean, there's a lot of this stuff going around.
Metals X.
Yancoal has like a giant Chinese shareholder.
Stanmore.
Yeah. Stanmore and totally.
Fortescue.
Soul Patts, yeah. Oh, so you've got Soul Patts are a major shareholder of New Hope. Like this stuff happens a lot, yeah.
And Eris. Soul Patts the major of Eris.
Yeah.
A few examples.
Oh, look at just fucking off the cuff, boys. Southern Cross, interesting one. Gold antimony play. You don't hear about much antimony. My first mine I ever worked at, the Hillgrove mine, that was gold antimony up in buttfuck cold Armidale. God bless it.
A different Armidale.
Do you know what antimony's? No, she's not. Isn't there's some contrasting Armidales? The Armidale in Melbourne.
That one's quite flash.
That's a flash. Armidale here.
Not quite as flash as
They
the Melbourne
upgraded
one.
the shopping centre, but yeah, it's starting to look flash. Do you know what antimony's used for?
I actually don't. I'm not going to lie.
Increase hardness for alloys. Also used in clutch and brake parts.
Yeah.
Also used in flame retardant chemicals, though I wouldn't put much weight to that demand for antimony because there's no better bloody flame retardant than hose pissing out of water. Fed by GetWet bladder. That is the best flame retardant I can think of. Boys, I think we've been pigeonholing GetWet a bit to the GetWet bladders, but holy snap and duck shit. GetWet do a lot more than GetWet bladders, I've found out.
Tell me.
Did you know that?
This could be news to me.
Mate, it's news to everyone. Bore pumps, dewatering pumps, RO units, Bloody
What's an RO?
Mate.
reverse osmosis.
Oh, okay.
There, polywelding for kilometres. They supply the polywelding machines. Just, mate, just anything water, not just bladders. So, mate, tell you what, you want water. Boys, I actually see a bit of a possibility here. Work with me here, talking about M&A. GetWet Solutions merging with WA water bores. Possibly all script.
Is that a win-win?
Synergies.
Holy snap and duck shit, don't they complement each other?
They do.
Yeah, because James and WA water bores, they drill the living shit out of any paleo channel or any other water-bearing structure that hasn't probably never had water before, but they make water be there because he can smell the water through the ground. That's why he hits it every time. The mud rotary expert. So
Got a nose for it.
if you got him doing that and then feeding that water up into some GetWet pipes, sucked out by a GetWet pump into a GetWet bladder and bloody putting out fires out of with a the GetWet flame retardant system. Holy far out. Keep your eyes, money miners, on some water consolidation in the industry because I think it's coming. GetWet WA water bores.
GCs.
I can see it up. Right. Speaking of bloody GetWet, because that's what happens to the MinRes iron ore. No
It is.
dust coming out of them bloody
Dust
bastards. What's
suppression.
happening in the bloody MinRes quarters? There's some news out late last Friday.
Yes. So you would have seen this in the MinRes channels. It wasn't put out by them. It was put out by Red Hill. So it's a classic sort of late Friday announcement. As part of obviously getting Onslow up and cranking back in 2021, as we touched on last week, Min signed a deal with Red Hill. So one of the terms highlighted in Red Hill's announcement is that a second $200 million payment has been triggered. That's how they sort of worded it in their headline. And one of the key details, which was also mentioned, is that MinRes will pay this on July 1st. Now, that sounds like it could be a month or so late. No sort of definite answer from us here, but it sounds like it could be a little bit later than agreed upon when the contract was signed in 2021. And if that is the case, then we can certainly say we know MinRes has been under a bit of balance sheet pressure and why it might be a bit more friendly for them to have that payment go out on July 1st, all centered around that balance sheet. And I just wonder, being inside the room there, what that conversation might have looked like when you're the smaller company. MinRes has sort of got you in a bit of a chokehold. Whether there's sort of, I
feel like I'm there, JD.
If I was Red Hill, I'd want a bit of a cherry on top if I'm going to wait an extra month upon the previously agreed terms. But who knows how sort of friendly MinRes would have been with that. I guess we'll never know.
There might be wanting to defer the tax implications of that into the subsequent financial year for Red Hill. But normally you want money faster because of time value of money.
Absolutely. And if you read in the announcement today, there was a quote from the Red Hill exec chair. And just the whole language talking about Onslow being delivered on time and on budget. He's just reading from Chris Ellison's playbook. It's pretty uncanny the language being used there.
So once that ship gets delivered, MinRes earn their extra 17% of the project. I think that's another condition, isn't it?
Yeah, and one of the other ones was
Royalty
the royalty kicking in that 0.75, which
She's
we've
all
spoken about.
flying. There's just cash going everywhere, tax getting deferred, everyone's happy.
Tax going everywhere except MinRes's bank account yet. But good thing they got that extra bridging facility in from the good guys at JP Morgan.
Oh, it's covenant light, Trav. It's covenant light.
Thank
Just
God they
relax.
discovered that.
No, that's
the junk.
that's the bond. But
Yeah.
they when they've done
the extra $750 US on the Haul Road sale.
So there's this extra debt facility in there until the Haul Road transaction closes, which the read through on that is the cash and bank account is pretty slim until then.
Mate, thank God they discovered that bond market.
They got plenty of levers. It's all good.
Yeah, it's bloody piece fucking just a bloody walk in the park.
The bridging facility is not a tradable US bond, but it's just a private facility, I think.
If they didn't discover the JP Morgan bond market, they mightn't have got that debt facility as easy because they got the relationship,
That's true. The relationship.
It's all about relationships. Right, what's brewing in the world of oil and gas M&A?
Well, I just got a bit of a radar going off that something's brewing, Matty. There's just a lot happening, I reckon. Like there's get that spidey senses like there's a deal coming, and it's felt that way for a long time. But I just want to rattle through some of the things that have popped up over just the last 24 hours in this news cycle. Firstly, yesterday there's this article in Data Room that Beach Energy will be active in M&A, but not until the 2025 financial year. The column references MST's analysts say Beach Energy may pursue mergers and acquisitions to capture any opportunities from larger companies like Woodside and Santos, but they would not happen until 2025. Also, smaller companies which may struggle to gain funding and sustain market appeal like Carnarvon, Cooper and Strike may be within the crosshairs of Beach. So the whole not until 2025 thing might make some sense, but then why would Beach feel the need to come out this morning flagging a $400 million impairment it expects to show up in its August financial reporting? Like I'm always just a bit curious about the strategy to cleanse this sort of information ahead of the statutory time that you need to. So like, why do you cleanse it? Was it a requirement because something's going to happen before reporting period, and you've got to get that information out first? My eyebrows are just a bit raised when I see stuff like this happen early. Second one, Data Room then suggests in another column this morning that Gina Reinhardt could be eyeing off a possible buyout of Strike Energy. The column says that she owns less than the disclosable threshold of 5%, and Gina is the JV partner at West Erregulla. The column also strums up the potential that Strike would make sense to Beach Energy and Mitsui too. So just curious, right? Like there's just this flurry of stuff. And then the third one.
Ding, 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 what we're talking about.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, yep.
And Carnarvon.
Have we mentioned? Yep.
Yeah. No, so third one, this is pretty interesting to me as well. POSCO, who's Gina's joint venture partner in Queensland gas producer Cenex, they're apparently going to invest 326 million Aussie dollars into that JV to ramp its gas production to 60 petajoules by 2026. Now, POSCO, who owns 50.1% of that JV, so I assume Gina would be tipping in pro rata herself into that. So look, just despite all of the rumours that we've seen about oil and gas consolidation or mergers, and from everyone from Woodside all the way down the pecking order, all of these rumours have come about, right? But despite all of that, like we actually haven't seen deals in the Aussie end of the market just yet. But I'm sensing that will change soon. I don't know what the deals are going to be, but there's so many permutations. And it just feels like we're moving to that critical point where you're just going to see a flurry of activity there. That's what I'm feeling.
Mate, she's got bloody Andover out of the road, so she'll be hungry again.
Oh, she's not capital constrained.
Pocket change.
Jeez, bloody. Depends. It might be bloody manning up the team. I don't know. Who knows? Who bloody knows? Right, Bannerman.
Time to talk uranium, Maddie.
Oh, love it.
So Bannerman, for those unfamiliar, is a $620 million company, and they've got the Etango 8 project in Namibia. We've sort of spoken about it with Justin Hun and a couple other guests we've previously had on the show. So they've come out with feed work and revised cost estimates on sustaining, pre-production CapEx and all these sorts of things. And I think we can award these guys the champions of mining studies in the ASX.
Well, better than Ozgold?
I reckon, yeah. Etango's done a DFS in 2012, DFS optimization 2015, and I'm only starting there. Studies go back. A heap leach demo plant, 2020 scoping study, PFS 21, DFS 22 again, an expansion scoping study in Feb of 24. We'll even chuck up a timeline, and it's just study. They've been studying Etango for the best part of 15 years, and I mean, at the time of the DFS in late 2022, Bannerman were targeting FID in calendar year 23. Then if you look at the bottom of today's announcement, advancing towards a targeted positive FID, market conditions permitting. So they're still looking at that FID that's elusively sitting on the horizon there and wondering if they'll just wait for the next uranium cycle to get involved. They've brought the CapEx up a bit from about a year and a half ago, so that sort of cost inflation that we've seen around the world. We're talking about $353 million US to get this project going. And it's kind of interesting just to look at the all-in sustaining cost, US $39 a pound. Maddie, when we look at the long-term, the term contract pricing and the spot pricing, term is sitting around US sort of 78. I know it's a bit of a range. It's a bit difficult to put an exact number on. And spot is well above that. But you'd think that's sort of time where you can kind of get serious about developing a project unless, maybe there's more than meets the eye with some of those numbers. I mean, if you look at
maybe they just want someone to buy them.
Maybe they just want the ETF flows while the uranium price keeps going up.
Fucking flow it in, yeah.
I mean, the market's reaction to yet more study numbers coming out wasn't so positive today, although the uranium space was off a bit. So maybe it is easier just to keep talking about the supply-demand imbalance. But in all sort of seriousness, as we've spoken about a bunch, if uranium does go up, I've got no doubt this stock will just continue to go with the flow and trend upwards.
Go with the flows, buy the flows.
That's it.
Yes. No, I've got my eye on Namibia now. I like Namibia.
You like Namibia?
You just wonder if there's going to be some consolidation in Namibia. Who knows?
Who knows? I did listen back to a bit of the Hoon interview we did. He said water's the thing to look out for in that particular neck of the woods. They're all relatively close in the west of the country there.
And if you listen to MD interviews, mate, they've all solved a water problem.
Yep.
Lucky we've just created
Good thing there's that.
Lucky we've just created a super water company in Australia that can go find it and bloody save it and everything.
Just sort of pipe it over.
GetWet Solutions. Bloody
AIC.
I'll be I'm keenly awaiting Paladin's quarterly. See how much bloody uranium they're pumping out at Langer Heinrich. I've heard it's flying out. Who knows?
Drums with an S, maybe.
Just drums, not just a drum. Just very looking forward to Boss's bloody quarterly, because after that one drum, I haven't heard anything about another drum.
Yeah, we want a
let
photo,
alone drums.
We want a photo of all 2 drums by the time the quarter comes up.
And not the ones from the vault.
2 drums is £2,000. We'll just rip through the other friggin' things out here. There's not too much bloody colour on. AIC Mines. Any ding-dings there?
No, sir.
JD, you bloody own half the friggin' market these days. Bloody
fucking 6 stocks is getting out of control.
Is that all you got?
That's too many.
The early declaration of achieving FY24 production guidance at Eloise. So 12,500 tonnes of copper and 5,000 ounces of gold in concentrate. So they're sitting pretty with cash after they raised $57 this quarter. They raised it at 52 cents to sort of fund the Jericho link and took the price while it's there. It's retreated back on the Spark chart to 45.5 cents. So she's a bit down from the raise price, but looking for some positive cash flow on the back of achieving production guidance.
Yeah,
we want to know, are you bloody achieving it profitably?
Well, with the kick up in uranium price, and that's probably why they've come back a bit as well. But
copper?
What am I saying? Yeah, the copper price, you'd have thought they were sort of barely making a margin the quarter before, but that would have been, if you're not making it at over $5, then
yeah. I had a good laugh at was it Twitter? I think it was. So, or someone commented on AIC saying, why didn't you do a share purchase entitlement offer to look after shareholders?
Oh, an SPP.
And Aaron Colleran's like, are you serious? You've had all the opportunity to buy on the way up before the raise cheaper. Yeah. Why would we give an entitlement offer for the last bloody 2 years?
SPP.
Quick-witted. Bloody love it. Yeah. What else we got going on? Spartan, ding over there for JD.
Yep.
Another deeper intersection for Pepper. I'll bring it up here. 30.8 metres at 12 grams a tonne. 647 metres downhole. So bloody, it's not too much bloody further, but it is further. So
including a 3.5 metres at 92 grams. So.
Yeah, just bloody weird. Just take her all at once, JD. Just blow the living shit out of it. Bog it out. Beautiful. Awarding the contract for the underground exploration drill drive is expected, so i.e. the underground decline, the start of the underground, awarding that in July. If I was a betting man, I reckon sports bet, we'll have Bar Minko at $1.30.
$1.30.
$1.30.
That's me odds.
But if it's a sure thing, Matty, it's lower odds than that.
$1.30, but like
you got to entice the punters.
There's no perfect market.
If you have it too short, could be some arbitrages going on.
Gotcha.
So I'm thinking Bar Minko at $1.30.
Sounds like you are a betting man.
I can pick a contract too.
Get a word on the decline, fellas,
Done
as well.
Before. I don't know about this one. Fucking don't know. I've got a bit today about a fella telling a fella who told another fella. that there might be a potential sales process going on for BHP's Nickel West. Not putting much weight on it.
Yeah.
Indication from BHP was that they were going to announce in August what the future of
what the plan is.
Nickel West was. And Nickel West, like, even though it's not making much money, it's still fucking big. Like, it's still a lot of infrastructure, big mines. Like, she's a big package. Now, because you'd think if they decided to shut it or put it on care and maintenance, there'd be probably accompanied by a public announcement for a global sales process for this. Maybe. Don't know if it'd be happening behind closed doors yet. And I'd say a lot of parties would have been probably contacted about it. So, yeah. And I don't. It's not something that bloody couldn't see junior. The only thing juniors would be looking for in and around that would be that Cambalta concentrator, but come with that some rehab liabilities, and there's a bit of wheeling and dealing to go on there. So
yeah, I don't think it'd be a very good look for BHP to kick off a sales process while a lot of its employees are in limbo about its future. I think they would want to be pretty delicate about the messaging of that if it were to kick off.
I would say, I'd say those should be a bit of a revolving door there at the moment for the employees.
Yeah.
Be getting the fuck out of there. Or you'd be hanging on for your redundancy, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'll be doing. I reckon
Just coasting.
I reckon a BHP redundancy would look pretty bloody good in my pocket.
I think you guys are spot on. And I think, as Koala said the other day, there's not too many smaller sort of parts of a business that are taking up that much capacity, disproportionate to the EBITDA that they're churning out.
I'll tell you what, when Mike spoke at, was it Miami's BMO thing or something in Miami? I looked at that deck when it came up because it included a bit of, it included like a lot of stuff about the Anglo. So I looked through that deck, and at one point it did Control F nickel, 2 references to nickel. The first one was like 38 pages back, and the other one was in the footnotes. Like, that's how important fucking nickel is to BHP right now. 2 mentions in a fucking like 60-page deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a bloody thorn in their side, no doubt.
Yes, I think those
I wouldn't be surprised if there was potentially maybe a sale process just for the Cambalta concentrator, separate, but that'd be the only thing going on at the moment, I reckon.
TBA,
righto. There we go. Rip through that one. It's just a lot of. It's like a charcuterie plate. There's a little fucking few nibbles here and there going on. Is that how you pronounce it? Charcuterie?
I can't say I'm familiar with that word.
I used to read it like cacciatore, but that was the wrong word.
Charcuterie. Yeah. Righto, thanks to all the bloody partners. We'll have the partners drinks. We'll have charcuterie plates at the partners drinks.
We will. We'll also have...
That's decadent. That's becoming like possibly the biggest event of the quarter.
The go-to event.
The fucking money of mine partners drinks. All the old, all the new, and all the people sucking up in line. So... I love it.
Who do we have in the show, Matty? The combo.
Ooh, yeah. GetWet and WA Waterboards, soon to be under the one roof, possibly.
Also got to thank VRIFY, DSI Underground, Silverstone, CRE Insurance, Brooks Airways, and Matty, last but not least,
K-Drill. And, geez, how good were those fucking spark charts?
Flying, mate.
Show.
Hoodoo.
Love the look of them.
The information contained in this episode of Money of Mine is of general nature only and does not take into account the objectives, financial situation or needs of any particular person. Before making any investment decision, you should consult with your financial advisor and consider how appropriate the advice is to your objectives, financial situation and needs.